And so rather than having him tell it to Stan to try to tell it to us, Sean is going to tell us directly. So please give him your attention.
I appreciate the clapping. Unfortunately, we don't have everything fixed as of yet, so I'm going to go right back to the beginning of what the issues and symptoms have been. The internet that is provided for your network actually comes from the road and goes into our big computer room. That's supplied by a company called Lumen. They only worry about the line that goes from the road into the actual computer room. We verified that 2 weeks ago that there was nothing wrong with that. Inside of the computer room, we also get a feed for your TV, which is Senior TV, which is done by DirecTV. We shouldn't say hired, the company that actually distributes all the information to you is called Centrix. And they basically take the fiber feed and they take the satellite feed, they put it into a large device that's called a CMTS, and it actually converts the media onto a coax signal that then gets distributed throughout the campus. Now the main piece of equipment, again, is called a CMTS, failed 2 weeks ago. They continued to try doing updates, they tried rebooting the system, and it didn't work. Oddly enough, not just here, but Harbor's Edge and Abbey Del Rey, and probably about another 100 outlets within the Florida area, who all had the CMTS, it all died within a 1 week period. So, Centrix looked to actually trying to find a replacement unit of the same model, make, and year. Unfortunately, this equipment has got to be 15 years old, and it's they call it EOL, end of life. These devices are no longer supported, you cannot find any of them. So the only option you have is to go out into eBay to try and see if there's somebody reselling it. And more and often, when people are buying these used pieces of equipment, they fail within a couple of months anyway. So Centrix decided to bring on board their new network equipment, which is called a BTC CMTS. It's just a fancier word for saying more expensive piece of equipment that's supposed to handle more for everybody. When it was installed, the settings that were on the previous CMTS that said, hey, everybody in the community, your modems can connect, we're going to give you internet so everybody can be happy, the settings on the new piece of equipment that came in did not match the old. The technology here within inside of the community works off of a signal strength. What's coming in from Hotwire works off of an actual fiber connection, so this will not be an issue moving forward. But until that time in August, we still have to work with Centrix on getting these signal strengths to a point where the equipment that's out in the field can communicate properly back to the new CMTS. After about a week of fighting with them and telling them they were wrong on doing their testing, we did find out that we were right, that they did not have one of the settings correct. Every modem within inside of the community now can connect back to the actual CMTS. Not everybody here has a stable connection, meaning it's very slow sometimes. Because all these devices are connecting back, and just to give you rough math, say there's 300 devices that are on our campus. The problem is it's not just 300 devices trying to connect back to the CMTS, it's whatever's connected to those modems that count as well. So I've been up to a lot of your guys' houses, and I can see you have 3 TVs, 2 computers, 3 iPads, 2 cell phones. Well, we're looking at, exponentially doubling, tripling, quadrupling the number of everything trying to connect back again to be able to get an internet connection. This is actually bringing the actual signal down to a point where everybody's fighting for bandwidth. So we need a couple of days for this to be able to peter out and stabilize. They're continuing to work on the signal strength, but there will be a few stragglers that if I haven't called you guys this morning about, I'm coming and actually getting the modem, trying to bring it back, and we're trying to format them in such a way that they have the latest firmware and we can get you back up and running as quickly as possible. If it's not possible, there is a bit of a downfall to the new CMTS, is that it is very strict on what numbers it needs to be able to work. The old CMTS was designed in such a way because signal strength couldn't be guaranteed to be solid at all points in time. They would have a little bit of variance. You could be plus or minus. The new one says, nope, you need this number or you're not going to connect. So there are a few residents that I'm still working with, and there's a few I still have to reach out to. There's probably about 10 or 11 or so I'm still trying to get to see. But it's actually physically going to be me showing up at your place and probably spending 4 or 5 hours testing signal strength. I obviously can't do everybody in the same day, and I'm only able to, with 5 hours in a day, get to 1 or maybe 2 people a day. Unfortunately, I do have some other duties I'm still trying to keep up with, so I will be sitting at a blackboard today asking people to just please give me a little bit more time, and I'm trying to focus on getting everybody back up on the internet and happy with their speeds, so we can put this in the rearview mirror and I can move forward with it. Now, with this new ISP coming in, being Hotwire, I want to make sure everybody knows that once Hotwire is turned up at the end of August, there will be no more senior TV or the current internet you're on. We want to try and step away from Centrix as fast as possible. They understand that we did not renew any contracts, and big companies know if you don't renew, you're out the door. So their support level is, I'm getting hold of some of the support people that I know, which are lucky enough they are helping us, but it's still not in their best interest to try and make sure they're spending all their resources and getting us up for the next 3 or 4 months. Unfortunately, another bad portion of this, with the equipment we currently have, and I explained, I think in the last town hall we had, we're going to have more problems with senior TV. The receivers are starting to die. We're not going to go out and purchase new receivers that are only used for 2 or 3 months and then lose that money on them. We, inside of the maintenance area, have the ability to go in and continue to reset it. So if you have one channel that's not working, please just don't walk around telling everybody, channel 97 is not working, blah, blah, blah. Just send in the actual ticket for us. We physically go in, unplug the unit, reprogram the unit, and I believe we haven't missed any yet, but it's back up for another couple of weeks. There are some problematic channels that seem to go out more often than others, but we're trying our best to get to them as good as we can. Now, with me saying that Centrix at the end of August will not be working here anymore, Hotwire is not the only choice for you guys. You can move over to Spectrum, but I would highly encourage you at the end of June, and again during the next big town hall we have, I'm going to post on the screen, and I'm hoping that we're going to have everything in Green Horizons and everywhere else you guys look, specific dates that Hotwire is going to come in and sit down with each individual person, explain what you're going to be getting and what is possible. What I mean by that is, as we move away from Centrix, the LifeSpace team has been able to negotiate a price that is basically going to cover the same cost of what you have now. So as you move away from Centrix and having senior TV and your internet, senior TV was already included, but the internet was $40. As we move forward to Hotwire, it's still going to be your introductory rate of $40. Or I think it's $40 or 45, something like that, Stan? $40. This will give you internet and TV. Hotwire provides different types of channels, but they're like channels. LifeSpace has gone back to them and argued them because one of those channels was HBO. It's a paid subscription, but they've actually got that included. Something to be very mindful of is when you guys are approached about this, and I hope you guys can go and do some homework prior to your sit down with these guys, see what Spectrum costs, just to let you guys get a figure in your head. I know that a lot of people are coming back right now and saying, well, I'm not going with what's being provided by Village on the Green, because we always have problems. Everybody has Spectrum does have an issue. I can tell you right now, a lot of the residents I've worked with that have Spectrum, that I've done a little bit of work on to try and get the signal back up for them, they have some problems, maybe even more, but it's 4 or 5 times the cost of what Hotwire is coming in to do. I'm not telling you you have to go with one or the other. Just make sure you do your homework. Understand Hotwire is going to be what's sold to everybody coming in. Again, you don't have to take it. One thing you do have to be very mindful of is that when it comes time for you to say yay or nay on Hotwire, if you say yay, you're going to get that $40 price tag. If you end up going with Spectrum, you find out, you know what, these guys are $40 a month, they're doing great, they don't have any interruptions, I'm going to get rid of my Spectrum and go with Hotwire, you are not going to get that $40 price tag. I cannot tell you what that number is going to be, but it'll be a lot more than the $40. So please, do your homework, take a look, make sure when these dates are put up there, you are available. They will do their best to try and work around some of the schedules. Everybody understands, people go on vacation, they've got prior commitments, but this is something very important for you guys moving forward. I want to encourage you guys to make sure you be able to sit down and talk with these guys and understand everything offered. I can't say that beyond the internet and the standard TV package, they will be able to offer you other things like your phone system. If you are currently on copper and the copper's dying in your units, CenturyLinks is actually abandoning all copper. They've grandfathered in any existing customers and they'll support them, but if there's a fail on their actual network, they do not come and fix anything anymore. Copper is an old dying technology. Everything that's in the ground is starting to be able to rot, and they're having a lot of issues with it. So everybody's having to move to what's called a VoIP phone system, VoIP, voice over internet. One of the big people that are here, or I shouldn't say people, but one of the devices everybody seems to use is UMA. Hotwire will have their own version of this. I do not know what the cost will be. Again, they will sit down with you and they'll give you options. If you want to have our phone service, this is what it's going to cost you. If you guys want to end up having things like Peacock or NASCAR racing or something else, another paid service, they're going to be able to offer these to you at a above cost of the $40. But again, these are things you guys have to be able to figure out. Right at signing at $40 a month, I don't know if they offer a discount for things like Peacock if you do it on the same day, or if it's going to cost you more down the road, but I'm sure that'll be addressed once everybody's sitting down and talking with everybody. Anybody have any questions? Did I go too quick?
No. Appreciate the information.
Sorry, Mr. Dr. Boss.
My question is very simple, really. Instead of the speech that you gave,
Yes.
could you make it in 2 sentences? What is coming for us in simple words, and what should we do?
CenturyLink is out, Hotwire is in.
Okay. And what would it provide?
It will provide internet and your TV.
The cost will be $40, isn't it?
$40.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. If anybody want to know, Dr. Boss was asking me to summarize everything in 2 sentences. So, sorry, not CenturyLink. Centrix is out, Hotwire is in, and it's $40 a month. Yes.
I want to thank you for the constant messages, the updates of how you're coming along. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm trying our best. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I do know there's a lot of messages going out, and I know sometimes people are inadvertently looking at it going, another message, and you guys stop reply, don't do that. You guys need to be on Blackboard. It's the only way I have been able to communicate to everybody within inside of the grounds. I do have some very nice residents that have neighbors that refuse to use technology and are coming to me saying they're still having issues. I'm trying my best to get around to see everybody.
You're doing a good job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. On to the meeting. So I've asked you to silence your phones. Anybody that came in late, please check and do that. And I want to welcome, stand where the podium can see me. Okay. Welcome any new residents that are here for the first time. If you are here, if you would either stand up or raise your hand so that we can welcome you, that would be great. Okay, there's Liz. That's it. Barry. Thank you for coming. I think you'll find this to be very informative and something that you'll want to continue to put on your schedule. We do this the early Wednesday in the month, which follows the first Thursday, which is when the Residents Council meets. So can't say the second or third Wednesday, one never knows. We met Residents Council last Thursday, and the minutes will soon be posted on the Unigust app. Our resident council meetings and all resident committee meetings are open to all residents to attend as guests if you are not a member of the committee, so please feel free to go or come. The schedule is posted in the Green Horizons at the beginning of each month, so you'll know when and where these 6 committees meet. There are 6 of them. We will now look at the agenda. Okay. I have some things that I want to tell you from the Residents Council, and then I will give you an update of the scholarships that are offered to Village on the Green employees, and then Salim will give you specifics about the Brady Wilkins scholarships. Then Don Eskin, our chairman of the Finance Committee, will give you a little bit of finance information. FLICRA will be reported to us by Basil, And Richard is here to speak about lifestyle, and Stan will tell you about the Memorial Day program, and then he'll also tell you just a little bit more about electronic communications, but we've heard just about all that we want to hear about today. So he will speak briefly on that. And then Jerry's got a little bit to say on team member appreciation. Okay. I have created for you a visual aid, and I would like my 4 helpers to come up here, please. Take the center of that, and hold that into that. Your right hand and left hand. There we go. Step out here. And you step behind. Okay. What I am trying to show you here,
Yes.
what I'm trying to show you here is the organizational chart of LifeSpace. The bottom layer represents the 15 executive directors of our 15 communities. And so Village on the Green and Jim would be one of the 15 on this bottom layer. The next layer represents the regional directors, of which I think there are 3, but I know at least there's the Florida one and the North one and the Texas one. I think there are 3. Then above that represents the management, I guess I would say, of LifeSpace. This is where the chief operating officer is, the chief finance officer, the chief technology officer, the head attorney. All of those guys are here. And then the top layer represents Jesse Jansen, who is the president of LifeSpace and also the executive director of all of LifeSpace. Don't leave yet. We had a visit this week from Andy Kazarek, name, okay, up there. And that's his picture. He started with LifeSpace as a director of a community, and he has directed at least 3 communities I remember him telling us about. Then he moved up to the regional director for the North region. That's the Midwest, that's the Chicago and the Minneapolis communities. And he was recently promoted from that, May the 1st, to this level. He is now the COO, the Chief Operating Officer for LifeSpace. And so the reason this comes to my mind in the middle of the night when I should be sleeping is somebody said to me yesterday, is Andy replacing Jim? And the answer is no. Andy is 3 levels above Jim. He's one of Jim's supervisors. So no, Jim's here for the foreseeable future, and Andy is now directing all 15 communities and those he leads. Any questions before we thank these people for being willing to stand up here? Are we good? Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
I'm going to continue, and if I miss anything, then tell me.
Well done.
Okay, so this is Andy. This is the group that met with him on Monday. He's very tall. He's in the back there, and all the rest of us are he's taller than Jim, that are here in front. And this is our regional director, the South Regional Director, whose name is Bill. So we got Bill and Andy. Okay, did I do it? Okay, we had a nice hour with him. He asked each of us what we thought the greatest assets of our community were, what we liked, what was going well, and also what our concerns are and what we would want him to know. He took 3 pages of notes. I sat right next to him and watched him. And he referred back to them a couple times to answer things when it was his turn to talk back with us. And so I really felt that he was receptive for what we had to say. He had been on campus once before, 3.5 years ago, something like that. But Jim put him in a golf cart as soon as we were through and took him all over the community and showed him everything. So he's got a nice visual now of what Village on the Green is and can be. And then he and Bill jumped on the Brightline and went down to Harbor's Edge and Abbey Del Rey to do the same thing there. So he is, over this course of this week, visiting all 15 communities and getting a mental picture of everything that he now supervises, which I thought was a good thing also. I feel sorry for him because he lives in Chicago and he's going to stay in Chicago. And I don't think that would be my choice, but he has 3 young children and is happy to be ensconced there. So it just shows that remote working happens a lot in corporations these days. Anybody have any questions on our visit with Andy before I go on? Great, okay. The other thing I want to talk about is resident safety. And I've got a lot to say here. First of all, I want to talk about fall protocol. Many of you have heard this before, but because we have new people and because it is so counter to our natures, it's important to say it again. When someone falls, your first inclination is to help them up. And that is the wrong thing to do. You can cause greater injury to them because you don't know what they broke or hit when they went down. And it can also pull you over as well and injure you. So the right thing to do is to, first of all, press the button and connect with security because they need to come and assess the situation. And then you can push a chair close to the person that went down, and if they are able to get themselves up without your help, so hold the chair so it doesn't push across the hall, but if they can get themselves up, then that's a good thing, and it gives them a place to sit once they get up. Security will help assess whether 911 needs to be called. Sometimes you'll want to call 911 the minute you call security because what you look at, you think they need more help than security is going to be able to provide. But that's the proper response. And under all circumstances, security writes an incident report so it's on record that this happened. Sometimes the reason it happened is something that can be corrected so it will not be happening to people again. So that's the right protocol. Don't help them up much as you want to, and push a chair to them, and tell this to everybody who's not here today, because we all forget it. Do use your call button for that circumstance, or any time that you feel ill or not quite right and you need security and possibly 911 to come and help you. The 911 response is generally within 5 minutes because their office, their fire trucks and ambulance are right down the road, very close. We are so lucky to have them so near, and they are so charming that they love to come and help. They do not roll their eyes and go, oh my God, Village on the Green's down again. They come and are helpful and glad to be here. And we thank them by taking a meal to them 3 times a year, once for each of the 3 shifts that they work. Call button. Okay. When the sheriff was here last week, and that was
Incredible.
an awesome program. They were here all week, had different things during the morning sessions of 5 days, and when I saw that on the calendar, I thought, I'm not giving up 5 mornings in 1 week. And I went to 4 days, and everyone was different and valuable, so I got a certificate for participating. One of the things that came up in that was AEDs. These, I don't know their fancy names, but they're the boxes that you can use when someone's having a heart attack. And they are self-explanatory. And so we looked around the community and discovered that we only had one. So, and it was in the gym, which is far away from everything. And so a second one has been purchased. I have seen it. Jim brought it to Coffee with Jim yesterday, and it will be installed right here in the bathroom alcove, visible from the receptionist, from the Longwood room, from the dining room. And sometime in the next few weeks, there will be a training on how to use it. Now, it's supposedly self-explanatory, but when I'm freaking out trying to use it, I'm not necessarily listening to what the little machine is telling me to do. So I want to hear what it's supposed to do so that I'm not freaking out when I might have to use it. We also learned that the method of CPR that we all learned back in high school or elementary school with the open the mouth and you put the mouth, that's not the way we do CPR anymore. Chest compression is the right way now to do CPR. And so we're all saying, well, I'm not strong enough to push on somebody's chest. But what the point was made was you can count for somebody who can do the compressions if you're not strong enough to do them. And you can call 911 because that's the other thing that should be going on when somebody is doing CPR. That training and the AED training will happen together. It'll be offered several times because it works best in small groups. So watch for those. Okay. Scam awareness. That's another wonderful presentation that the Sheriff's Department talked about. And she had an hour-and-a-half presentation that she condensed into 45 minutes. But we are going to have her come back again and give the full version because there are 5 red flags to alert you to when a communication comes to you that is probably a scam. And so if it matches these criteria, then you know that this is not real and you should not respond to it. So watch for that training to come as well. They are getting more and more and more and more creative with their scams. So as soon as you think you've heard them all, they will bring another one on board. And the point she made is that prevention is our best line of defense because it is almost impossible to get the money back when you have sent it to somebody. So let's protect ourselves. And we know that they prey on seniors. So we want to be smarter than they are and not respond to scams. Barriers. Heed the barriers. I'm about to tell you something that you don't want to hear, but this is what's about to happen. Within the next week, oh good, someone who needs to hear this is coming in the room. Welcome, Steve Cassetta. All right. Are you listening? This is pointed at you.
I'm listening.
Okay. We need to heed the barriers. Do not walk around the cones. Do not lift up the yellow tape and go under it. Do not push it out of the way and bring it back. Barriers are there to protect us. There's something unsafe about wherever this barrier is. And you may or may not know what it is. It may look good to you, but it's there for a reason, not just to inconvenience us. What will happen within the next week is a barrier will be put up on either end of this hall behind the kitchen, and we will not be able to walk through that hall again. There are alternative ways for us to get to the dining room or the Heron or the front of the clubhouse through the glassed-in hallway that was built. So come from Sandy's reception area, down the hall, past the salon, And when you get to the place where you can turn right, we're going around the residence break room, turn right and go to the glassed-in hall, turn left, and come in either through the Sable or back behind the Sable and in from the back of, into the Heron area. There will be barriers and stanchions there. It will be clear what they want you to do, what we want you to do, which is not walk there, but the hall behind the kitchen, between the kitchen and the dishwashing area and the pantry is always wet. They mop it 6 times a day, and they try to dry it. They try to do one side and leave one side walkable, but it is a fall risk every time. And we've had a fall again this past week that brought it back to our attention yet again. And so we need to avoid that, and we need to not move the barrier out of the way, walk around it, and put it back. This is a change. We don't like change. We are seniors. We do not like change. But this is an important one for our safety. So please watch for that and start training yourself to walk the other way. I told you wouldn't like it. I don't like it either, but it's important.
Sue, that's our,
What's that got to do with me?
I heard third-hand rumor that you move barriers and walk around them. So that might not be true, might be a rumor, but that's why I pointed to you.
Rules are made to be broken.
Disagree.
so Sue,
Jerry, just a minute, please, Jerry.
yeah,
It's licensed.
I feel like I've heard, even in the 2 years we've been here, that walkway behind the kitchen has created at least 3 falls.
I know 4.
4. And I know somebody recently in our area just broke her ankle.
Yep.
And a bad laceration on her head.
Yep. Lots of injuries, so let's protect ourselves and follow the new direction of traffic.
Orlando's office is down there, isn't it?
Beg pardon?
Orlando's office is.
No.
Yes, and staff will be able to get there.
Oh, staff will be.
Right.
Sue, will you confirm that that is a permanent closure? Is that a permanent
I would
closure?
say yes, but as permanent as it can be with the equipment that they have purchased to block it. I have no information about whether a wall will be built there or with a door in it or anything like that. So please, follow the barriers that are there, and then something else will happen. I don't know. Lastly, parking in front of the clubhouse.
Yeah.
We don't, let's see, please do not park along the curved driveway. There was a point in time when security said that that's where you're supposed to park, but that's not where you're supposed to park. So park in the marked spots and no place else, because there needs to be room for the cart or the bus to get through, and then always a space for the ambulance to go through in case the cart is there. So it is a 2-lane space, but if it's blocked in any way by somebody parking on one end or the other, it limits the ability of the ambulance to get to us. One more thing. The trip risks area at the end of the ramps, where there's just this little piece that you can trip on, is being replaced. So that will be taken care of in the next few weeks as well. Plan committee is on top of that, and Lenny's on top of that. Lynn, and then Jerry.
I'll say this as gently as I can, but I think we need to make the point that several spaces have been taken up for months by construction equipment. And I'm really frustrated with that, as well as the sales trolley. It's always parked right where the curve is not, it's not convenient, it's not letting two cars go through if the trolleys are there. I think sales has a place to park their car next to their office over there, and
Good
I
point.
would like to see that one moved.
Okay. Have you shared that with sales and with plant operations? Those are the people that can fix it.
Okay, I will.
Yep. And make an email
Sure.
and copy Jim, so he's aware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My whole point was to echo that. Several times you can't get a car
Through
through
there.
because you've got a bus and the sales cart. And so then we drive illegally to the park, the spot on that side, because we can't go all the way around the curve.
Okay. Let them know, this is new, this front, and so we are discovering problems with it, and they need to be alerted so they can fix them. Doc?
Increase the disabled parking spaces.
We can request that, but I think what they have is what's required by law and not inclined to give more than that.
Why do you intend to increase occupancy?
Say again?
Why do you increase occupancy, expand capacity, and not provide adequate parking for a campus of this size?
Okay.
Why is there not a parking structure?
Okay.
This is not debatable. This is.
Again, please share that with the people who have positions to fix it, because I do not. Okay.
It's not okay.
Agreed. Ready to move on? Tired of listening to me? Okay, here's some happy news. I want to remind you, because this is something that doesn't get a lot of publicity, and that is that there are 3 ways in which residents provide financial support to staff members to help with various things, especially with education. That there is a LifeSpace Education Assistance Program, which is part of their benefits package for working here. And if you want to know specifics about who, what, where, and all that kind of thing, Ann Blair will speak to you about that independently. This is funded by part of the monthly service fee that you pay and part of your buy-in amount. A portion of that goes into the scholarship fund that's administered by LifeSpace. So you are contributing to this without even knowing that you are. Then there is a LifeSpace Foundation scholarship program for team members, and this includes part-time and the PRN staff members as well. This is funded locally by donations, and there will be a time during the year when it's explained to you how you can donate to this if you want to support the scholarship offerings for our staff members. Then finally, there are the Brady Wilkins scholarships, which Salim will tell you all about in a minute. We're focusing particularly on them because this very soon future is when we will be awarding those scholarships to our dining room servers, and we're excited to celebrate with them the receipt of this financial support on behalf of all of us. And again, this is something that you will have the chance to donate to yourself. So these bottom 2 are local donations above and beyond your service fee that you're paying every month. There's another program, which is not a scholarship, that you have heard about and will hear about again at the end of the presentation, the Team Member Appreciation Fund. The difference is that, and Jerry's going to say this, so I'm stealing her thunder. The difference is that this is not tied to education. They use that money any way they want, and all 300 plus of our employees qualify to receive it. And it's a smaller dollar amount than the scholarships are. Those are the 3 things in my mind that distinguish them. And again, you will have an opportunity to contribute to that as we go forward with the year. Those are usually always given with the first paycheck in December, something like that, so that they receive this nice bonus. And these are, think about it as all the tips that you haven't left to your diners through the year, and to your housekeeper, and to your drivers, all the people that make our life better, that we don't put our hands in our pockets and hand them a tip when we get out of the cart. This is our chance. She's going to say it again.
It's okay, you did it.
No, I don't have to say it at all. Oh, good, because we're running short on time. Okay, Salim, if you would come tell us about Brady Wilkins. Sure. Come around this side.
Good morning. My name is Salim Ayub, and I am the chair of the Brady Wilkins Scholarship Fund program. Brady Wilkins. What is Brady Wilkins for the new ones that are not here? Brady is, there are two siblings, a sister called Ellen Brady and a husband called Lawrence Wilkins. And they decided one day to have a vision. They wanted to have somebody to take care of the community here, so they created a scholarship idea. They wanted to provide scholarship, but they really wanted to provide education for the people working here. So they decided one day to get the community involved, and they had some seed money. They put $100,000 each one of them, the two brother and sister, and they formed. And they got the community to be involved to create something, and the community decided, the community being Village on the Green people, decided to create a scholarship fund for the people working here, and they decided to be the servers that work in the dining room. We felt that that would be a good thing. They had at the beginning, it was a little bit tumultuous, it was chaotic, it was stable for a few years, and then there was some issues with the community, with the management here, and eventually, through some good benefactors, they helped us keep going. And the COVID situation was also an issue, but eventually now we have everything we need to provide scholarships. One thing that I can say for sure, we have never not provided a scholarship for somebody who deserves it. So it is, and the other thing that's very important, that all expenses paid for this we pay for it. LifeSpace does not pay a penny for all our costs. So everything is borne by us. We bear for it. We pay for it. Versus the other three, that all of them are paid by the community here. The expenses, we pay our own expenses. Something that people sometimes forget is that we have raised so far a little bit north of $4 million. It's been started in 1988, and we have, when you think about scholarships, you have to think that we give a $10,000 scholarship for somebody going for a 4-year education program. So this year, for example, until 2025, because 2026 has not been announced yet, we had 45 students. So many in 2022, so many in 2023, so many in 2024, so many in 2025. And so the total was 45 students. 45 people that are basically, if you want to call it, we are on the payroll. We pay them every half year or whenever, they get paid their tuition. And they have to maintain their grades. And all this, the administrative function of this is being handled by Central Florida Foundation. We tried to do it on our own, but we were unsuccessful. And that's why we turned it over to the CFF. CFF serves as two functions. They are the people that help us, that the people that take your money, that the people that disperse the money, that the people that pay the schools, they meet the IRS regulations for us. So we don't have to worry about, am I paying right? Am I doing it right? Are the people, the donors are getting their IRS documents and so they can apply for a tax relief. Another thing is, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago to be exact, we started a new initiative to branch into the medical funding for the Brady Wilkins Scholarship. So not only do we have now the regular scholarship for the servers, but we are trying to go into the medical field. So we are trying to provide funding for people that want to go into nursing. And this year, by the way, this year, our first graduate with a bachelor degree in nursing is graduating in December. And she's a daughter of one of our, Tommy. Tommy is a person, he is our transportation supervisor. And last year, we had 5 students that chose to go into the medical field. Some of them are cancer, whatever this and that. I mean, it's really overwhelming. These kids, how good they are and where they want to go, and their sights are set on the future, the firmaments. Really, they're very, very good. This year we have 8 candidates. We are yet to receive the name. We have the names, but we have to say exactly where they want to go, what branches of studies they want to do, when are they going for a 4-year or 2-year program, but otherwise all is well. So I want to thank you about the Brady Wilkins, on behalf of the Brady Wilkins Foundation. I want to thank you for your donation, your support. And there is one thing that I absolutely need from the newcomers. If anybody is interested in helping, I am right now searching for somebody that can do the financial aspects for the Brady Wilkins here on site. We have the final numbers coming in from CFF, but I would like to have somebody local here who can give me the stuff. We have a bunch of helpers. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah.
Having trouble making the 1 hour today, so let's help me out with that.
I'm gonna help you with that.
I know you're sure.
I'm not gonna be very wordy.
Sorry.
I just made bigger print, it's not all filled there. What I wanna do is, one of the great things that we've had now is we finally.
Microphone.
Okay, we finally got some reports in a timely fashion, which is a milestone in our, finance committee. And, I will offer, I'm not gonna go over the reports because I will tell you, it's not something you wanna curl up with in the evening, okay? But if anybody needs or wishes to read them, they are available in the library that Ann Blair has put together, and you're welcome to them, or if you want, there's several of them I could send you in soft copy, but the third one is just too big, which is the consolidated one. The Finance Committee will review these in a May meeting, and we'll talk about it, which is June 3rd at 2 o'clock in NPR. I want to echo what Sue said. All the meetings are open, and everybody is welcome. I would highly recommend, if you have any questions, come to the meeting. We always leave time for visitors' questions, and if we can't answer them right then and there, we take an action on them, and we make sure that we get answers to every one of them, and they stay on the list until they're answered. So, you know, within reason, let me put it that way, okay? That's about it. You know, we've got a new financial statement, a new financial program, excuse me. So this last month's financial report was not really inspected very well, but hopefully it's going to make things easier to understand, And maybe it'll be more positive, you know, when we rather than find errors in it. Okay, that's it. Any questions? Good.
You did, thank you, Basil.
I'm going to take just a minute to thank the chair here for a real meeting of substance today. We've been in here for 8 minutes to your hour, but I don't think we've heard any more substance to a meeting than the one we just had. Thank you. Now I want to talk about FLICRA because I do have a few things that you haven't heard, and I'll try to be as quick as I can. First, there is a document available now that gives a summary of the work group recommendations for the legislative reform. Now, it's a good document, but it's a summary document. And what is in there is the response to 23 recommendations. 23 recommendations, some of which have been accepted and agreed upon, some of which are still under consideration, some of which have been rejected. But anyhow, it's all covered in this report. But I'm afraid just to offer the report to you. It just was approved for release this week, but I'm going to send the initial copies to all of the representatives of the buildings and the villas for them to tell me how their residents would like to interact, or if they want to interact with it, because it will take some time to make sense of it. You can hardly look at it without understanding what's in the basic regulation. So I'm willing to give you copies of it, but I don't think it would make sense to just cover the walls with it and kill a few trees. So it will go to each of your representatives, whether you're in a villa or an apartment, and I'll ask them to come back to me and tell me how they think we ought to distribute it. So I'll quit with that. That's work group reports. Now I want to also talk about another opportunity that came to us from FLICRA this week. The second is that we're one of the few organizations that has obligated groups. Okay, obligated groups started here about 10 years ago. And since that time, we're one of they're the only example I know where a provider like LifeSpace has more than one obligated group. And so the obligated group is a method of aggregating the assets of various units and using that as collateral for bond issues. Does that make sense? So that's what it is. It's just a way of aggregating the assets and putting them as collateral for bonds. Now, there is a draft document, it's a work document at this point, and I've asked the FLICRA people to let us look here at this video, because we have a lot of expertise with the people here that are on obligated groups. So contrary to what we just heard, I'm going to have a closed meeting with that video. Why is it closed? Because it's still an in-process document, and I think some of the people here at Village on the Green, who are on the Finance Committee particularly, have some inputs that will be useful in the final product, which would become one of the training modules that FLICRA offers. I think you're all familiar with the training modules. So we are going to have a closed meeting, and I bring it up here because if you don't get an invite to this, come see me if you think you can make a contribution, but it's really going to be a work group session. And I think the president of FLICRA will be on that call. He actually, I went to him to get approval to do this, and so I think we have some expertise here that can help all of the units in Florida for which this applies. This meeting, I haven't set it up yet, but I will put a call out on that. I also want you to know that I am in dialogue with Senator Jason Broder's office, And it's likely that we've already issued an invitation for June the 24th. And Rotary's got one thing that recommends him to me and to, I hope, you, and that is that he has legislation right now, current bill in the current session, that looks to the pitfalls of AI for senior citizens. So he's interested in people like us. He's been to Legacy Point. I'm hopeful we can bring him here. Save the date for June 24th. Okay, now, I'm going to give you 3 quick slides because you might wonder what all this stuff is about these recommendations. These are 3 examples. I'm going to go through them quickly. But the very first one, this was put together by our friend and neighbor Lloyd Yeager. And the first good news is stronger financial reporting. While we have good and improved financial reporting that's always ongoing, we can have more. For example, obligated groups, which I just mentioned. It is apparent to me that the obligated groups of all those locations ought to be in the provider's annual reports.
Next. You ready?
Yep, ready. The second is resident contracts elevated to class 2. Very important for you. Regardless of whether we want to talk about it or not, about 2.5% of CCRCs experienced either bankruptcies, receiverships, or forced sales during a year. So every year, so many of these organizations have financial problems. These changes identify how the residents are treated in a legal procedure. It has elevated, if it's passed, it will elevate the status of residents in a bankruptcy procedure to right behind bondholders, ahead of all the rest of the creditors. That's really important, can be really important to residents. Last one, access to strategic plans. While we get monthly financial statements, and quarterly ones and annual ones, we do not really see a roadmap as residents of the strategic planning for the next 5 years. Some of us are old government people and Department of Defense, but McNamara brought to the Defense Department in the mid-40s a 5-year financial plan. And the budget is one thing, but that budget's usually a 1-year program. But in order to see the direction of a unit and where that particular organization sees itself going, we have to see not only words about the future, but also the financial planning that gives us an indication of future financial viability.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, I'm Richard Levine, and my wife Phyllis and I are the dual chairs of the Lifestyle Committee. A few quick announcements of May activities. This afternoon, right here, 3 o'clock, we will have the opportunity to listen to Professor Saki O'Sullivan's History of Florida. This guy is a renowned Rollins professor. He's recently retired, but he was a renowned Rollins professor, and hopefully you can all come and listen to his presentation. Next, as many of you know, the Village on the Green Foundation has donated the Baby Steinway grand piano to our community. It's hiding behind the screen. May 16th at 6:30, we will experience an inaugural performance. It will be given by the renowned concert pianist Solomon Eichner. Many of you have heard him before. He will be back, and I'm sure we will just be thrilled to listen to the different history.
It says 7. Is it 6:30 or 7, Richard? The flyer
It
says
may
7.
have been changed. The object was to change it to 7. I'm glad the slide is more up to date than I. Thank you. May 27th at 7 o'clock, we will have an adult comedy magic show. It's supposed to be a lot of fun, interactive, and I encourage you to attend. May 25th, we will have a Memorial Day program. Stan will speak to that in just a minute. Only once in time, and now is the time, we will have a special celebration. June 1st is the Village on the Green's 40th anniversary. We're going to celebrate it for a week, the 1st through the 5th. Every day will be marked by different special events and activities. This Friday, along with the weekly view, you'll receive a special bulletin that highlights all of the various activities. Please take a minute to read it, because it's an interactive week. We need your thoughts, your contributions, your memories, and this explains how, when, and where we will need these documents. It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun, and I want to especially thank Anne, my wife Phyllis, Stan, and Maurice, and her staff for pulling all of this together. It's been a monumental effort. Another item, in the wings, in August, LifeSpace is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And we will have a one-day celebration to commemorate that. I'd like to thank Dick Altman, Marlene Gus, Ron Goldman, and Donna Hallows who are putting that event together. Thank you. Stan, if you could speak to the celebration.
While Stan's coming up, Maurice asked me to put in a special plug for sign-ups for the talent show. This year does not have many sign-ups, and some of our people who are talented are shy and need to be encouraged. So if you know somebody who's got a talent who would make a good contribution to that, please encourage them to sign up. We have until the 22nd to do so.
Real quick, same time, same place, 10:30 on May 25th, we'll be having the Memorial Day service. And I want to just have all of you come as we honor those residents, military veterans who have flown west since our last time. And I hope you're here. If you have any piece of military gear from when you were in service, feel free to wear it. We look forward to hearing you as we take Memorial Day. It's not a day for hot dogs and beers and going to the beach and opening the pools. It's a very serious event, and we need to remember. And then shoving over to...
Yep, you ready?
Yeah.
Oop, yes.
Oh,
Oop, no. There.
Anyway, quickly on electronic communications, I just came across a note that talks about the American Disabilities Act, and any place such as us, a CCRC, a 301c, is required to have a good system to be able to hear what's going on in this room. I sent this note to Jim, and Jim answered back very quickly. He had a great one at Harbor's Edge. It improved the capability to hear this, to watch movies and hear other events. So we are working on that. It's going to be trying to get this into the room so you'll all be able to hear something that may provide an extra signal to your hearing aids so you'll all be able to hear better. And I just want to close with saying we should be all appreciative of what Sean is doing. He feels bad that there are people who still are hanging and don't have it. I know personally that he was out here Saturday from 7:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the night trying to get us all online. And it's an individual case. So be thankful of Sean, be thankful of the system that has provided us to have one. Thank you.
Jerry, in terms of Hotwire, we are on schedule, and you will be hearing setting up appointments to meet one-on-one, and it will go live the end of August.
Sue said everything that needs to be said. We've got wonderful employees. It's important to recognize and remember them. I don't know about you, but I just had a wonderful experience with Margaret and Betty, our two people in laundry, and they had they couldn't find my purple sheets, and I'm the only one with purple sheets in Village on the Green. And by golly, they went through their network, they asked the housekeeper, somebody found it, and they brought it over and gifted it like it was some kind of beautiful Christmas present. They were so proud. You know that both of those ladies have worked over 22 years in the laundry, and they take it seriously, and they love, and they do it with such great love and joy. That's just one of many. I don't know if you just saw the other night in the midst of that incredible rainstorm, but here we have Jackie and Jonas and everyone protecting our dear residents and making sure that we're safe. Jonas always says, take your time. Take your time, doesn't he? Anyway, please remember them and remember them well. And again, just think about all the times we don't have to tip. And this is our way to say thank you. One more thing, watch for actually there's going to be a new, it's called High Five, and it's going to be rolled out in June, so watch for that. It's going to be a LifeSpace sponsored, but a very easy way to share your gratitude, just a very, very quick way. So it's going to be all over our campus, and I can hardly wait, because you know that's been our theme this year, is to just show our gratitude. So keep that coming.
One thing I forgot from the sheriff, this will take 30 seconds. They are always looking for crossing guards for the schools, and there are 2 vacancies at Sable Point if you are interested in this as part of your retirement job. They pay $16.75 an hour. They provide everything above the waist as far as equipment goes, and I have brochures for that if you would like. Any questions? Thank you for coming. We are adjourned.